So hey guys, this is Nuri, and this short video is going to be about my website and my project. So as you can see right here, my topic is about Carthage and Rome, specifically how Carthage was able to be recognized by Rome during the Punic Wars. So as you know, the Carthage and Rome is the Punic guys, and they kind of fought each other at, it says 814 BC, and this I'll be browsing through my website, showing some aspects about it. And here's a cool little GIF animation I got from the internet. You can see, checked it out. Totally shows how Rome conquered Carthage. And yep. So so if I think a state to be considered a strong state, I think it should have three aspects. It should have a strong army, strong enough wealth to support it, and a good political system. And it should have a good political system to be able to organize it. So here we are at the Army and Navy page. So the many Mediterranean states considered the army, the ground army I mean, by the way, really valuable. Since as you can since look at the map here. Look, every other states are located next to each other. They can walk by land and attack. But here, they between Carthage, they are separated by a huge amount of water. They can't walk, and they're not gonna walk all the way over here to just attack. So Carthaginians did not value the ground army as much as the navy. Just an interesting fact. And because of that, they mostly made the army of mercenaries they hired from neighbor states or their colonies. And one of the and usually they hired special forces, like what their special ability kind of thing they had. So one place they actually hired was these guys, the Numidian. I hope I'm saying that right. Anyway, these guys were really fierce horse riders. And what the special stuff about them is that they didn't have any saddle or bridles they put on horses. So they were able to move faster, make swift changes in their direction, and pretty much kill everyone. Next was from the island of Balearic. They hired slingers. I know it kind of sounds stupid, but from the records, it's actually says it's pretty good. They threw lead or stone, which they were able to penetrate a helmet or light protective armor. And plus, their accuracy was good as any archer's bow and arrow. So that's and I almost forgot. And the largest mercenary continent Carthage hired from was the Libyans of Tunisia. And they were good fighters, as it's told, but the good part was they were able to be switched off from light infantry skimmers and concentrated lines of infantry. Like they form a troop, or not a troop, a whole army. You know how in movies they have lined up armies with long spears kind of thing? Sort of similar to that kind of formation. Okay, now let's move to the Navy. So, this is the. I'm not sure if this is the correct image for how ancient ship looked like, but apparently that's the only picture I got. Anyway, So like I said, Carthage valued navy above the army, and we'll get over the reason why is that when it goes to the trade and wealth tab. So Carthage has basically three types of ships: a cargo vessel, a warship, and a small general purpose vessels. So cargo ships, like you just tell by the name, it's for moving supplies, and when it comes to war, they were transporting a large amount of troops too. And that's that. And what's special about the Navy is their warship. And what's special about the Carthage warships was that the general level, the height of the ship was a bit lower, and they had 3 levels of oars, and each single rower, Carthaginians had 4 or 5 rowers respectively. So they had more rowers on one oar, and there were more oars. So that made the ships more stable and probably more faster, which is good for running away and attacking and everything like that. Carthage had 2 different tactics. One is basically ramming into the opponent's ship like a suicide bomb, and another one is to break through the gaps in the enemy line and turn about sharply to take them in rear. Interesting. They both go close to the enemy lines. Anyway, that's about it from the Carthage military, and let's move on to the trade and wealth tab. Carthaginians were really active sea traders, mainly because of their location. If you look at this map, you'll see that Carthage covers almost the entire North Africa, which gives them a lot of space for building ports. So up till the Second Punic War, Carthage was able to dominate the Mediterranean sea trade, which also goes back to what I sort of mentioned at the military page. So one reason why Carthage has such a strong navy is to protect and encourage the sea trade to Carthage. And also they had another source of money, the gold mines. Oh yeah. Back then, the gold and silver was the direct currency for money. So basically owning the gold mine is like owning a money printer. That'll be sweet. Consequently, they're a really rich state able to hire all those mercenaries I mentioned. And that's it about the trade and wealth for Carthage. Let's move on to the political system. So we don't know much about Carthage's political system, but still, Aristotle, this guy over here, wrote about a book of Carthage's political system, and according to him, Carthage's political system was in fact awesome and did not make any triumphs. So what does that mean? It mostly means it had a really good organization to gather your people together. If there's war, you could launch a war and do all that stuff. And in addition, you did not have to spend any money clearing off the triumphs. So here we are at the last page, analysis. Although Rome won the Punic Wars overall, they had difficulties at defeating Rome because Carthage had an equally, or at least equally, good military, a lot of money, and a good organization, which would have been enough for Rome to acknowledge Carthage.